Alright guys, this is a quick little introduction. As many of you know, my viewers, my followers, I'm into the long range aspect of shooting, not just air guns but also powder burners. But back to air guns, what I have today is the new CORSAIR 7mm. This is a CORSAIR Plus with the improved receiver, made out of better material than the original CORSAIR. It was 308. It is now 7mm. This uses a TJ Enterprises barrel liner in 7mm. The barrel right now is about 30 inches long, a little over 30 inches, like 30 and a quarter inches long. I'm just testing it right now. I'm probably going to cut it down to 28. 30 and a quarter is just a bit long and it doesn't fit any of my rifle cases, which is another reason why I don't like long guns. Well, too long. But anyway, we'll go over some of the quick features first and then we'll start shooting. At the very end, it's a muzzle brake. I forget the make of it, but it used to be on my Remington 700 308, and I decided to have Doug groove the or thread the end of the barrel to accept the muzzle brake, and I think it's half by 28 threads if I'm not mistaken. Also, it has the standard CORSAIR air tube. Anybody familiar with the CORSAIR knows that the air tubes are small on these guns. So, I mean, hey man, this isn't the ideal gun. It's not. If I had it my way, I would have a bigger tube on there. But I'm gonna work with what I got. Just trying to improve the ballistics of the gun by going to a 7mm over the 308 is the main purpose. Because I'm shooting cast bullets, and some of the cast bullets in 7mm have pretty high ballistic coefficients as compared to the 308 lead bullets, and so does the copper bullets. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. Again, on the gun we have the Michael Chavka stock, and I hope I'm saying his name right, Michael Chavka. He's on the yellow forum. He does excellent work. I love this stock compared to the which one did I have on there? The Richards Microfit. This one has way more style, wider at certain points, which I love. Different lines. I mean, totally different look. And I'll throw up a picture here and picture of my old stock on the CORSAIR 308. But anyway, going back to it, there's a. Not only do I have the Michael Chopka stock on the gun, I also have a Harris bipod, and Michael was gracious enough to install a front and rear, a forearm and a butt stock swivel stud, which I think is an awesome feature to come on the stock. His prices are very reasonable, and the fact that he threw the swivel studs in there is a plus. And going up top now to the gun, we're done with the bottom and the middle of the gun. Going up to the top, I have the SWFA 12x42 30mm tube scope on it. Supposedly these scopes are super good. They are purposely made for long range. This thing has about 110 minutes of clicks in them. So we're gonna test this thing out at some point and shoot pretty far out and test the scope and test everything on the gun to see how it shoots. But right now it's in the baby stages of testing. There's still a lot more stuff I want to have done to the gun, like the barrel needs to be blued. It's going to be Cerakoted. The barrel band, which you can kind of see is a little ugly. It's been worn. I'm going to have that Cerakoted. So the barrel's going to become Cerakoted. The barrel band's going to be Cerakoted. And I'm going to cut the barrel back down to 28 inches to shorten it. And then we'll go from there. But for right now, this is the gun's maiden voyage. I'll talk about the gun some more in another episode. This is just an introduction. Doug was gracious enough to machine me a weaver base. This weaver base is longer in the back and longer in the front, and it's also thicker than the original ones. So it sits up a little higher. That allowed me to mount my scope using low or medium rings and keep it low to the barrel. I love all my scopes to be low to the barrel. So even the rails on the scope rails on the gun are different than what came on the gun. And we'll end it there. All right, I'm back. Anyway, I'm out with the 7mm. It's windy. I knew it was going to be windy. I always check my weather report. It's about 15-mile-an-hour winds. I don't have my wind meter with me. It's at home, of course. You always forget something. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm going to be shooting a little bit of long range today. What I've done is I printed out a ballistics program for my SWFA 12x42 MRAD scope, and I printed out, the program has a little printout for the scope reticle for the MRAD dots, or the MRAD hash marks. So I printed it out to about 215 yards. I don't have that kind of range today, but what I'm doing is I want to check the ballistics program against the ballistic numbers and my velocity to make sure that when I take a shot on target, all my hash marks line up with my ballistics program, which tells me where to place the bullet. So we're gonna test that out, putting up a screenshot of the picture-in-picture of the ballistics program. I'm gonna go ahead and take the one that I have in my pocket to my scope, tape it like right up in here. So that way, all I have to do is look at my scope. What I like about this scope is I can put my printout here and tape it, and I don't have to worry about any adjustments here. All my adjustments are in the rear. So my rear focus is back here, and my obviously rear focus, it's back here. And the turrets, of course, I don't have to worry about tuning anything here. So here, I can just put my little ballistics chart that it printed out right here on this, like this. And then I'll be able to look at it and verify where my marks are when I range find stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, get set up. I got some cans out to about 146 yards. I'm gonna go from 75 to 146, and I'm gonna show you the marks that I'm shooting at, and hopefully every shot will be a hit. I don't need to go all the way out to 210. If I pick 4 random distances from 75 all the way out to 215, if I pick out 4 random or 5 or 6 random, that tells me that the program is right on the money. So the object here is just to hit the cans according to what the ballistic chart tells me it is for each hash mark. So we'll go ahead and do that, get started on that, and then we'll see what the day brings. And I'm shooting in the wind, so you guys are gonna get to see how effective cast bullets are in the wind versus pellets. All right, we'll be back. Okay guys, here's my ballistics program for the 7mm lead bullet. It's a round nose. It supposedly, when I say supposedly, I need to verify with the velocity that I have. This probably is the BC 3.305, but I need to see how it does in contrast to my velocity. So basically the bullet weighs 132 grains, 870 foot per second muzzle velocity, BC of 305. Right now it's not quite 80 degrees, it's more like 70 or whatever, but it's windy. My zero range is 75. My sight height is about 1 3/4 inches, center of barrel to center of bore of scope. I'm gonna go ahead, altitude probably is about correct. Let's go ahead and get to it. What I'm going to do is I have 4 targets out here. Where are my targets? The first one is 75, then 108, then the third can is 130, and then the last can in front of the bush is 146. The object is to try to hit one of those, or each one, with one shot at 870 feet per second to check my ballistics program against the bullet. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, let's go for the 75-yard can. Okay guys, the next shot is 108 yards, and that should be the second hash mark. The gun is shooting just a little bit to the right. The wind is blowing right to left. I moved it 2 clicks to the left. I'm gonna hold that on. The gun was already shooting to the right last weekend when I shot it. So the wind has nothing to do with it. I'm just making corrections now. So I'm gonna hold dead on, 108 yards, second full hash.
Dead center. So far, so good. All right, guys. Let's see. We're at 130 yards. So that means we are at 3.5 hash marks. Let's go for it. Hash marks. There we go. All right, looking good. The further we're getting out, the wind's taking more effect on the bullet. So I held off just to the right, just a tad, just off center. Okay guys, here comes the 146 yard shot. I'm gonna zoom all the way in down there and just leave it there so you guys can see it. All right, 146 yards is 4.5 hash marks, and I have 10. Sighted in dead center. Can only sight it in dead center at 75 yards, and it only takes me 4.5 hash marks to reach out to 146 yards. So let's go ahead and try that shot. There you go. Dead on. I mean, that's amazing, man. It's just amazing. Only 870 feet per second. And that bullet just gets out there and holds true to the mill dots like that. There you go, unedited, right there. 4.5 hash marks at 146 yards on a 12-ounce soda can. I would be lying if I told you the ballistics program does not match the bullet's velocity and or BC. Everything that I've inputted into the ballistics program matches. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take the walk here. And here you go. Here's a 75 yard mark. And there's a 75 yard can. The can was sitting like this. The bullet hit pretty much center, but just a little to the right, so it was more like this. But it's a hit nonetheless. There you go. And the truck is back there, 75 yards. So now let's go forward. All right, here we are at the 108 yard mark. This was the dead center hit. There's your entrance. There's your exit. And you guys have to remember, there's only 870 feet per second, and not only that, but it's kind of like a truncated coned round nose. So instead of a blunt round nose like a pellet, it actually comes up to a slight point. So like this can, normally with my 257, this can would have been blown in probably 2 to 3 pieces easy, even out far, a couple hundred yards. But it's just the shape of the bullet, not the foot pounds. So there you go. There's that can. And my truck is still yet back there in the distance. Way back there. There's a 75 yard, 108 yard. Let's go to the 130. All right, at the 130, this one went a little high, but still dead center. Well, not dead center, just a little off to the right, not like the first 75 yard was. This is more centered, so the can was more kind of like this. But a hit nonetheless. There you go. All these shots too, guys, I'm holding dead on. I'm not compensating for wind. I'm trying to see just how effective the BC is on the bullet. And like I said, it's 15 mile an hour winds, and I can't really show anything moving. There's nothing out here. Well, that bush is moving. But you guys got to remember, these are sagebrush bushes. They're stiff. So for that thing to be waving like that, it lets you know. I don't know if you can hear it in the wind, but without this boom mic, it'd be too windy to even make this video. So hopefully the sound comes out good. But it is windy here, and the wind is blowing the direction facing the can. The wind is blowing right to left this way, and I'm holding dead on, and the gun is still shooting just a little bit to the right. So that shows you 15-mile-an-hour wind at 130 yards isn't really bucking these bullets too much. Okay, 146. All right, here's 146. I have to turn my camera off right there. Here's 146 yards. This one was pretty much, I was aiming dead center and went just a little bit low and to the left just a little bit. I mean, half an inch. So, and I was aiming like right here. So, I mean, between wind, inconsistencies in the bullets, you know, inconsistent field pressures, I mean, come on. To be holding dead center and still hit pretty much center and to the left, that's a kill, guys. 146 yards holding dead on. It's a kill shot regardless. And again, there's 130, there's 108, there's the 75 in the front, and there's my truck. I'm 146 yards away. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm really happy with the G7 ballistics program. I use it for my 257, and it already has the cast bullets in the program. It has the Lyman, the Ideal, the RCBS, the Lee, bullet molds, and a few others. And I found on my 257 that it was pretty much dead on. This one was a really good test with the 7mm. On video, and for you guys could see it for yourselves. The gun hit exactly where I was aiming and exactly where the ballistics program told me to hold on. Even in this 15-mile-an-hour wind, the shots were pretty much dead on. I mean, there was no hold over here, hold over there, and the wind might have bucked them just a little bit, but who cares? I mean, it was a solid hit on all the cans. The program did exactly what it was supposed to do. The BC numbers were correct. The velocity is correct. I've CHRONY'd the gun before. I've also shot this gun out to 201 yards on cans. Same thing, water cans. And this was before I used the program. And I found like the 9th or 10th hash mark was basically 201 yards. And this thing is saying the last hash mark is 210, which I'm pretty sure it's true, because when I shot at the cans, I remember a few went high, and I was using the last one. So that means the can could have been set back another 9-10 yards, and holding a 10th hash mark, it would have hit dead on. So basically what we found out is this scope is sighted in, this gun is sighted in for 75 yards. With all the hash marks, it will go all the way to 210 yards without touching the turret. This turret has 110 minutes of angle. I haven't counted how many revolutions I've used. I don't want to mess with the scope, but just know that I have a lot. Plus, I have minus 10 minutes of angle in these scope rings. These are the Burris signature scope rings, 30mm. So I have 10 minutes of angle in this, and then I have 110. So all in all, I have 120 minutes of angle to mess with in this turret. That tells me, and that should tell you guys, this gun, even at 870 feet per second, will shoot pretty far. That's it for right now. We're going to continue having some fun with this thing. Thank you guys for joining in and watching. Again, I use the G7 ballistics program. I'll put the website down right here under my finger. See, it's typing in right here. You guys that shoot cast bullets, if you use Lee, Ideal, Lyman, RCBS, the ballistics are already in there. Just input the information like you would with chair gun or Hawk ballistics program. I found this thing to be more accurate when it comes to cast bullet stuff, because it's a bullet program, not a pellet program. So there you go. You guys seen the evidence. All right, guys, thanks for joining in. I appreciate the views. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more on the 7mm Corsair. All right, guys. There it is. Right there's a hole right there. There's an exit. Entrance is right in the queue. 201 yards. Mill dots are dead on.